Yo, I've been trying to get back into Deepwoken, like playing the game, like unironically just playing it, because most of my videos recently, you'll notice, are commentary, and there's like very sparse amounts of gameplay, and that's literally because I have no reason to play this game anymore. I've been at it for like 5 years, and coming back to this game after so long really helped me get a fresh perspective on it and the progression and stuff. Now, they've done a lot of work to streamline the progression and make it a lot faster and a lot less painful, but my issue with it right now is that it's really just not all that fun. Now, this isn't just like a random stray. I still think the game is fucking dope, but right now, the way that you progress in this game is typically just from taking jobs and walking around trying to find them. And honestly, I think that's the worst part of it for me. It seems like they've been working really hard to make the progression faster and more convenient, but they haven't really been doing much to actually make it like entertaining. Once you've seen all this game has to offer, you kind of start to notice how much of like a passive kind of game it is. Like you really don't do much to progress other than just walk around and fight things. And low-key, that wouldn't be an issue if it weren't for the fact that it still has a bit of tedium to it. Like when I take a job, I don't understand why it doesn't just show me where the job is on my map or something. Instead, I'm forced to like walk around in circles until I find it or until it like spawns on my head. And with like how big some of the maps are in Deepwoken, especially the depths, like if you've played Deepwoken like Deepbound or something like that, you'll know there's one half of the map that everybody progresses on, and then the entire other half of the map is just dead space. Like there's no point in going there unless you're going to like something for a quest or something along those lines. I like the job system compared to how the progression was before it was added. Like before this was added, you were literally running around just looking for mobs to kill, and they would just be at random places. And even still, they're in random places, but at least now you get to know what you're about to go try to find. Thing is though, these mobs will still spawn in random ass obscure locations. Like take a look at this. When I was trying to play earlier, they spawned one of my Thresher quests so far down that it just wasn't even worth it to like go down there. What I'm saying is, like, even though it's easier to make a build now, like you could probably do it in like 4 or 5 hours if you really wanted to, it's just not too streamlined. Like it sort of feels like you're just fucking lost, dude. Half the time when I'm playing Deepwoken, it feels like I'm in a fucking sleep paralysis like dream or something. I don't know if anybody else takes issue with these things like I do, but I feel like there's really easy ways to just make this a lot better and improve on it, despite it not being like too bad. I wish it were better, because it's hard for me to want to get back into this game because progressing is the literal worst part of it. Like it's just not fun whatsoever. Most people who play Deepwoken, they're progressing so they can get to max level and then do all the fun stuff like the world bosses and all that stuff. And yes, it doesn't take long, but I just wish it was fun. So let me give you my examples of how they could easily just fix this job system, make it a lot more fun. First of all, markers on your map for where your job spawns would be amazing. Honestly, I don't know why it isn't a thing. They added this map and it feels like it's there for literally no reason. Waypoints, markers, anything like that would be great, because I'm sick of taking jobs and running around trying to find them for like the entire fucking game. Another thing, add a map to the depths. Like I don't understand why there's no world map for the depths. The world map was such a good addition that I don't understand why they wouldn't put one in the place where you're basically spending 90% of your progression towards the end game. It just doesn't make sense. I understand that they want the depths to feel hardcore, but that isn't really like a difficulty thing. That's just convenience. Like that's just quality of life. And it would be all the more impactful to have that map if they added these job markers, which showed you where your quests were, just to make the progression just that little bit more convenient. Like it would just change the whole game. It might not seem like that big of a deal to you, but like the way that the progression works is like you'd grab a job from the job board and you just run around trying to find it. Most people in the depths, if they're playing Deepbound, they'll just sit at the diver castle, pick up jobs, and then fight whatever mobs will spawn within like that first like stretch outside of the castle and just stick around there the whole time. If you ask me, that shit is boring as hell, and they could fix it so easily by just making these jobs like less likely to spawn in the same place or something. I don't know. Honestly, me personally, I feel like they should have set like places on the map where your jobs can spawn just to make the progression a little bit more streamlined. Like right now, they can spawn anywhere, like on top of a fucking mountain, at the bottom of the ocean, near where like the layer 2 teleport is. Like you can get unlucky and your jobs will just spawn in like the most fuck ass places, and at that point they're just inaccessible. Fuck. You see what I'm getting at though? It would be so much easier if there was waypoints to where your jobs were, for starters, and it would also be a lot more fun because I'm not just running around the same place over and over. Like, you can't say that once you get to like Star Swept, if you're progressing in the overworld, that you're not just running back and forth in front of the gate trying to find Threshers. Like, it's the only fucking way to progress. And because of the way that this shit is structured, it will spawn as close to the player as possible, so it's like a little bit accessible. But I just think that's whack. Like, if there were more places for the jobs to spawn, especially if they were set and like actually set intentionally by the devs to where like the player actually has to go like explore the map to find their jobs, it would be, first of all, more fun. Second of all, you'd be activating more of the map. Like players would actually have a reason to go past this like initial area, which yeah, like some people are going to be like, well, that's fucking lame. I don't want to run the whole way across the map to get to my job. What fucking ever, bro. Like I don't want to sit here in the same spot. Like, are you really having fun doing that? Or are you just complaining because it's not convenient? I feel like you need to make fun a priority, and the progression early game especially is probably the most boring, sluggish slugfest of all of Deepwoken. There's so much cool content in the game. The Duke of Arisia, all these bosses in the overworld, Ferryman, everything like that. And there is no incentive for actually trying to fight them other than like loot. And even still, to get to these bosses, you have to get through all of this progression in the early game. The first time you play it, it isn't too bad because you're experiencing everything for the first time. But once you've actually seen everything that's in the game, it's like there's no point. I feel like these are just small changes that could change the game completely, make it so much more fun. Something I really like that the job boards added are these like humanoid bosses, like that one Nevaean guy. There's the fisherman in the depths. There's a bunch of stuff like that. And while these bosses are usually hella cool, these mini bosses, there's just no reason to really fight them. And on top of that, it's nowhere near as convenient as just sitting there waiting for other mobs to spawn. Like that's how most people will prog. If anybody on the Deepwoken team is listening to me, y'all took Souls as inspiration for this game. I can tell, bro. Look at layer 2. The first thing you see is like the end game when you get to Chaser. Sorry, layer 2, floor 1. Take more notes from their book. Take more pages. In Souls games, there are mini bosses scattered around the map in like specific places that you can go fight for progression, and they give you hella progression. Why is this not in Deepwoken? Like, yes, there are mini bosses around the map that will give you progression, but it's like randomized where they spawn. You don't get a marker. You don't get to know where they are. And yes, in Souls games, there's no markers or anything like that, but Deepwoken needs this stuff because the map is huge and these things will spawn in random ass places. Deepwoken's map is, there's like so much sprawling dead space that nobody uses, nobody goes to. There needs to be a reason to go there. Best way to fix that, set job spawns, set mini boss spawns. The fisherman, that one Nevaean guy, I don't know his name, bro. Sorry, I forgot. But point is though, like they need to have set spawns, or depending on what area you're in, there needs to be like mini bosses just like them that you can go find and fight for progression. That way, there's actually a reason to go there. Honestly, I think the fact that the jobs function the way they do is the reason it's been so hard for me to get back into this game. It is an improvement on the way that the game was before, where you're just looking for mobs that spawn at random and it lags the server and all this shit. Picking up a job so that people actually have to go like fucking initiate the event being spawned, that is huge. But it's still so annoying and tedious to go find these jobs. Like, it's just not fun. These changes alone would already do the progression so much more justice than where it's at right now. I pray that somebody hears this that's on the Deepwoken team. Please hear me out on this one. When I quit the game for so long and came back to it in the state that it was in, I was so impressed with how much it's changed for the better, but it could still be so much better so easily. Take a second and put yourself in the shoes of a new player. You're gonna fucking go find this job board, click on the job board, and you're gonna be like, well, where do I go? That is a problem already. I doubt there's anybody that picks up this game in 2025 and isn't looking up on YouTube immediately because of how lost they are, fastest way to progress in Deepwoken. And that is so tragic, because a good game would communicate this to you on its own. Another thing that could be good for the game are like quest lines and stuff, but that's a whole other fucking video, a whole other conversation, and frankly, I don't even know if it really works. It would also be so much harder to implement than just these minor changes. Moving mini bosses around, adding job markers, adding a map to the depths, please, bro. Even if it's unlockable or something, just please add one. I know why layer 2 doesn't have a map. That's cool. That makes sense. Layer 1 though, come on, bro. People are gonna spend so many hours down there. And especially if there were job markers on the map or set job spawns, it would be very convenient to have that map. But I've already made that point and beat it like the fucking dead horse it is throughout this video. Like, we're 9 minutes deep into my recording here, and I've said that probably like 4 fucking times. I'm sure you get it, but I just want to hammer that home really bad, because I do think that it would be such a good change and so simple to make. Swear to God, if y'all make this change, I'm getting back on the game for the rest of my life. I will make videos until I die on this game. Right now where I'm at though, I don't want to play it. Like, it's still the same slog it was before, just with like a slightly different structure. And also it's way faster, which is nice, but like, you know, something's got to give. Anyway, that's it. That's my pitch. Video's pretty much over. So leave a comment if you have other ideas and stuff. Community involvement is what has helped this game thrive so far. So yeah, if you have any other good ideas, leave them in the comments. I'm gonna ignore the head-ass ones. I'm sorry. Some people are gonna leave some head-ass ones, I just know it. But yeah, anyway, fucking, if you really like the idea of these changes that I'm trying to pitch, the best way you can get these spread around is to like the video, leave a comment, and share it. So this is why I'm pushing for this so hard. I'm sure you understand. That's it. I'm out. I'm done talking. Peace.